In less than 5 seconds, a missile could hit the USS Abraham Lincoln. No warning sirens, no dramatic countdown, just a single line of text flashing across a combat screen. Inbound contact high speed. Deep inside the aircraft carrier, Petty Officer Marcus Hale doesn't move at first. He just stares at the radar. 1 dot, closing fast. Too fast for a drone, too direct for a mistake. Around him, the room tightens. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Someone reaches for a headset, another operator leans in closer to their screen. No one says it out loud, but everyone is thinking the same thing. If this is what they think it is, they are already late. Marcus exhales slowly. His right hand moves across the control panel. Not rushed, not hesitant either. Practiced. Above him, mounted on the deck of the carrier, something begins to move. A white dome rotates, locks on. The Phalanx CIWS, or CIWS, is waking up. And if that system activates fully, it means every other layer of defense has already failed. Marcus doesn't look away from the screen. Distance is collapsing. Time is gone. And in the next few seconds, he may have to pull the trigger on one of the most violent defensive weapons ever placed on a warship. Petty Officer Marcus Hale has been awake for over 16 hours. Not unusual. Down here, inside the ship's Combat Direction Center, there is no sunlight, no horizon, no sense of day or night. Just screens, low voices, and the constant awareness that something, somewhere, is always moving toward you. A voice cuts through the room. Contact speed increasing. Marcus doesn't respond. He doesn't need to. His hand rests lightly near the engagement control, because once he acts, there's no pulling it back. Above Marcus, mounted high on the superstructure of the USS Abraham Lincoln, the system is already tracking. It doesn't look like much. A white dome, compact, almost harmless. But inside that dome sits one of the most brutal defense weapons ever built, the Phalanx CIWS. 6 rotating barrels, radar-guided, fully automated if needed. And when it fires, it unleashes 4,500 rounds per minute. That's 75 rounds every second. Not bullets meant to warn, not shots meant to scare. This is pure interception. The CIWS doesn't negotiate. It doesn't identify intent. It destroys whatever is classified as a threat. Fast, precise, and without hesitation. Because at this stage, there is no room left for mistakes. This system is designed for one scenario. Something is already too close. Above deck, the Phalanx CIWS aligns more aggressively now. Tracking is no longer passive. It's preparing. 10 seconds. Someone exhales sharply. Another voice cuts in through comms. Higher authority now. Stand by for engagement authorization. That's the line. Everything pauses there. Not physically. Systems are still running, calculations are still updating, but mentally. Because once that authorization comes through, there's no more discussion. Marcus rests his thumb closer to the control. Not touching. Not yet. The contact jumps closer again on screen. Distance collapsing faster now. Whatever this is, it's not slowing down. And the window to decide is almost gone. Multiple returns, stand by. That changes everything. Marcus's screen flickers for a split second as new data floods in. The clean single track he was following, now surrounded by noise. Not random, clutter. Confirm, are those real contacts? Someone asks, sharper now. No confirmation. Could be interference. Could be. That's the problem. Marcus switches filters again, stripping away layers of data. The system redraws the space in front of the carrier, but it's no longer clean. Now there are fragments, ghost signals, partial returns, small signatures blinking in and out. And right in the middle of it, the original contact. Still locked in, still coming in, but now harder to isolate. Tracking instability, Marcus says quietly. For the first time, his voice cuts through the room. Because this is where the system starts to struggle. Too much data, too many variables, too little time. Above deck, the Phalanx CIWS adjusts again. Micro corrections, almost invisible. But Marcus sees it in the numbers. The solution isn't as clean anymore. The firing window tightens. 7 seconds. The contact jitters slightly on screen. Not changing direction, but the signal is breaking up. Possible decoy, someone suggests? Marcus doesn't answer. Because if it is, then the real threat might be somewhere inside that noise. Or worse, right behind it. He forces the system into a tighter lock, prioritizing velocity and trajectory over signal strength. Strip it down to what matters. Speed, direction, intent. The box stabilizes again. Barely. 5 seconds. Now the room is completely silent. No extra calls, no side conversations, just breathing. And the sound of systems working at their limit. Marcus's thumb moves closer. Not reacting, deciding. Because whatever happens next, there won't be time to correct it. 4 seconds. The number hits different because now it's no longer about analysis, it's about commitment. Marcus stares at the track. No hesitation left in its movement, no deviation, no signal correction. Just speed, just direction, straight at them. Authorization comes through, cleared to engage. No build-up, no drama, just 4 words that carry the full weight of consequence. Marcus doesn't rush. His thumb settles on the control. One last check, trajectory, speed, alignment. The system is ready, locked, waiting. 3 seconds. If he fires too early, he risks hitting the wrong target in that clutter. If he waits too long, there may not be enough time for the system to finish the job. 2 seconds. He makes the call. No announcement, no warning, just pressure. He engages. Above the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln, the system reacts instantly. The Phalanx CIWS doesn't hesitate. It snaps into motion. The dome locks, and then it fires. A violent burst tears through the air. Not a single shot, not controlled, spaced-out fire. This is a stream. A solid line of tungsten rounds, ripping forward at nearly Mach 3. So fast, it doesn't even sound like individual gunfire. Just a continuous mechanical roar. Inside the ship, Marcus doesn't hear the full violence of it, but he sees everything. On his screen, the tracking box tightens to a razor's edge. The system adjusts in real time. Micro corrections, hundreds per second. The burst lasts less than 2 seconds. But in that time, over 100 rounds are already in the air, ripping toward the target. The clutter on screen explodes into fragments. Signals scatter, return, spike, and vanish. For a split second, no clear picture, just noise. Then, the main track stutters, breaks, disappears. Marcus doesn't breathe yet, because disappearance doesn't always mean destruction. Debris can still travel. Momentum doesn't stop instantly. The damaged object can still hit. Reacquire, someone calls. The system scans again. Nothing. No solid return. No continued trajectory. Just fading fragments drifting off the path. The firing stops, as suddenly as it began. Silence. The Phalanx CIWS powers down slightly, still tracking, still ready, but no longer firing. Marcus keeps his eyes on the screen, waiting for something to come back. Nothing does. No one speaks for a moment, not because they don't have anything to say, but because they're waiting. Marcus keeps his eyes locked on the screen, scanning for any return, any movement, any sign that something survived the engagement. Nothing. Just empty space where the track used to be. Contact lost, someone confirms. Another voice follows, more certain this time. Kill assessment, likely successful. Likely. That word always stays. Because out here, certainty comes slow. Marcus leans back slightly, but not fully, not relaxed, just enough to reset his posture. The system continues to scan, radar sweeping, sensors searching. Above deck, the Phalanx CIWS remains active, tracking the sky like nothing happened. Because for the system, this was just one engagement. For Marcus, it was a decision that lasted less than a second and carried consequences far beyond it. Marcus removes his hand from the control. No one congratulates him. No one stands up, because that's not how this works. If the Phalanx CIWS fires, it means something already got too close. That's not a win. It's a recovery. He glances once more at the now empty screen. Another watch will start. Another track will appear. Another decision will come. Up above, jets are still launching. The mission hasn't paused. And neither does he. Because out here, you don't celebrate the threats you stop. You prepare for the ones that follow. Out here, the most powerful weapons don't always make noise. Sometimes, they sit silent, waiting for the one moment everything depends on them. And when that moment comes, there's no room for hesitation. Only decisions, only seconds, only outcomes. So here's the question. Would you have fired? Or waited 1 second longer? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching Military Legends. Let's keep sharing these stories from the sea and create more respect for the men and women who live and serve aboard ships around the world. If you value real stories like this, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.